Hello and welcome to Musician versus Musician. That was terrible.
That had no oomph at all.
I didn't like that.
Matt,
hello.
try again.
All right, we're going to leave this in.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave it in, future Matt. But,
you ready?
All right.
You can do better.
Okay, give me my motivation on this.
Your motivation is pretend you give a shit, Matt.
Oh, that's... Okay, all right, I'm going to pretend that I'm pretending to be a person who gives a shit. Hello there.
That was
and
too
welcome.
far.
Welcome back. How are you today, everyone, listeners? This is Musician versus Musician, and we're talking to you about music and love.
You sound like one of those, late night radio DJs.
Is that good or is that bad?
I don't think it's good.
What kind of target audience are we on for this thing? I guess this week we're skewing towards what the heck is Slipknot's audience like? Are they just made up of everyone now?
I guess.
Is everyone in metal a Slipknot fan? No. A lot of people don't like them, right?
Maggots.
Yeah.
That's what they call them, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I don't consider myself a maggot, but I am a Slipknot fan. I think that's just because I don't like being identified as part of a group.
That is one of the most pretentious things you've said on the podcast, but it's also hilarious.
I just don't like it. I don't like being nailed down. I'm aware that actually is probably quite pretentious, but I don't like it.
It's funny,
It makes me uncomfortable.
That's valid.
To be like, oh, you're this thing, and
Am
I know you.
You can't tell me what to do. Yeah.
But then there are I like taking scientific category tests and stuff where it's like you're this personality type, and I'm like, yeah, that is dead on.
Yeah. Sometimes they get it right.
I'm trying to be more aggressive in the workplace, and more ambitious to counteract my natural personality type, which is quite apparently quite feminine and mothering and emotional. It's okay, Liz is coughing into the mic. I thought it was an interesting decision. She's coughing away from it now. This is
Stop making me laugh!
The most exciting podcast. So, we've gotten so distracted from the actual topic at hand. This week, on Musician versus Musician, we are going to put two Slipknot albums up against each other and see which one we think is better from the early and the late era of Slipknot. Both within the Paul Gray era.
Yeah, actually, I think we both. I think we had free reign. We didn't specifically say that we're going to be like this, but we just picked our favorites.
But are they also both within the Joey Jordison era? Yeah. Do you remember when he left? Was it after this album? Was it after the album that I'm going to talk about that the audience hasn't heard yet?
I don't know. I think he would still be on, because your album came after mine, and I think it's on yours. I think he is on yours.
Well, yeah, obviously he'd be on mine if he's on... I mean, obviously he'd be on yours.
Yeah, I think he's on yours. I'm not 100% though.
So, that was very vague. We're going to discuss Slipknot's first album, Slipknot by Slipknot. I hate self-titled albums. And we're going to compare that against All Hope Is Gone by Slipknot.
Yeah.
Guess who decided to go with the underdog, All Hope Is Gone? It's me.
To be fair, you picked first.
I know.
Because you were straight away, I want that one.
I know.
I actually had to go
it's
through.
weird that it is my favourite album.
That's valid.
But it's weird that it is. Everyone hates it.
Yeah.
And I think that half the album isn't good. But the other half is really, really good. Oh, do you think it
makes up for it then?
Yeah.
Well, I suppose we'll get around to it then.
And that kind of argument is perfect for our very limited debate that we do.
Hey!
So that's pretty good. So, Leia, what categories do we talk about on the show?
So if you haven't been keeping up to date with the new system, we've got 3 song choices each, and each one is to address a particular category. First one is live performance. So we'll look at whichever one, we'll compete. We've ended up a few times listening to 2 for live performance just because, if they were filmed on a mobile, you can't really tell what's going on.
Yeah.
It's hard work.
It's tough sometimes. Sometimes things sound better on our phones than on the computer.
I don't know why we start with that one, to be honest, because that's quite a hard one.
It is. You know what? We throw ourselves in the deep end on this show.
We do.
Don't do things the traditional way.
Then we present a song for ironic and unironic enjoyment, which is vague, and we basically do what we want for that one. And then we've got technical skill, what it says on the tin. I don't know why we end on the easiest one, to be honest, but we have fun.
Yeah, technical skill is easy. We really should start opening with that, but we're never going to change the format.
But we're committed now.
We've changed the format once, and this is forever now.
How many times have we changed the format, really? There's one big change.
One big change, lots of little
small
changes.
ones.
We're experimental. We're artistes.
Indeed. Let's run with that.
this podcast is our personal canvas, and I do a stroke, and then you cross that out, and you do a different stroke.
I do what I want, yeah.
And then I do it over the top, and we're drawing two pictures over the top of each other.
If you want a more realistic one, it's when you're in school and your mate draws a line on your book, so you start scribbling on theirs, and it just gets worse and worse. That's what I do. We just argue the whole time.
That's true. That is a more apt metaphor, but I prefer for the beauty of it.
Yours was lovely, and that's how you know that you're a writer.
True, though,
it's not true at all.
It's better when it's just a fucking mess.
It's a mess, and both of us are unhappy about it. That's what I'm getting at.
You've ruined my work. So,
are you ready?
Yeah, but I think because the albums are going to go in chronological order, I think we should do it you first this time.
Okay, this is a lot of trust you're placing on me.
Just makes more sense to me.
It does make more sense, but that's not the point. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm feeling some real pressure now.
No, I can look away if you want.
Yeah, we don't really look at each other.
We actually do this through a black screen, so
yeah,
that
we can't see each other ever.
No. I don't know what she looks like.
No.
Oh, you don't remember?
Well, I've only ever seen the logo that we go with. That's as much as I know.
Yeah, I mean that's just because she designed it as well.
Yeah. Someone else sent me a photo of you. You didn't even send me the photo.
Yeah, what do you mean? That's not a photo.
No, but I had to go on something, didn't I? I didn't just make it up guessing what you look like.
No, it's an artist rendition. For all the audience knows, it's an artist rendition.
True. I mean, it kind of is.
All right,
right.
You want to get to this?
So, yeah, Slipknot self-titled, because I hate saying Slipknot by Slipknot. We have this discussion a lot. I hate self-titled. Just name it something!
And I don't like saying self-titled. It's so confusing. I always end up thinking that's the name of the album.
Yeah, I
but
prefer
that's just
to think
I'm
of it,
dumb.
yeah.
That's not
valid. Yeah, so Slipknot by Slipknot, if you prefer. Noted for its extensive percussion and overall heavy sound. That's probably why I like it, to be honest. This is I wasn't sure what my favorite one before it was. I'm confident that this is my favorite album now. Well received. Didn't think it would be, to be honest. This is also the album that's attributed for Slipknot's massive increase in popularity and things like that. Peaked at 51 on the Billboard 200 and has since been certified double platinum in the US, making it the band's best-selling album ever. 2011 was voted the best debut album of the last 25 years by the readers of Metal Hammer. So
Corey Taylor was new to this album, right?
Yeah, is the first one, especially because some of the tracks actually weren't written while he was with them, so they had a little bit of a lawsuit over it, and they had to take a couple of tracks out.
There's like two versions of Eyeless, I think.
I didn't actually read about two versions of Eyeless, but I think Sick, Purity, and the one that Purity is joined to, which
you're probably right. I'm probably wrong.
I've read a lot about it this morning.
Is it Anders Kolsefniki? Is that his name? The previous lead singer? Who they asked, apparently, the idea was floated to bring him back since old Pinocchio face is leaving. What's his name? What's Pinocchio?
Pinocchio's the sample? No, he's not the sample. Which one even is he?
The one who's just left.
Yeah, but what does he do in the band, or what did he do in the band?
He hits a.
Oh, the backing vocals as well.
He hits a stick. He hits a barrel.
Yeah, I don't remember his name. Sorry.
Well, it was floated just to get Anders back and give him a stick and let him go.
Well, yeah, because that guy also does backing vocals.
I can't remember his
name.
name.
I think it's Chris Fenn.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, on the board today.
I've done a Slipknot episode of this podcast where I just spoke for like an hour and 10 minutes about Slipknot. Still can't remember all their fucking names.
Yeah,
I got
there's
Sean
too many of them.
got Corey Taylor, Joey Jordison's not in the band, Paul Gray's not in the band, rest in peace.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's
Chris
all.
Fenn, there we go, that's 5. Mick Thompson?
Mick Thompson, yep. Sid Wilson.
Well, we're geniuses, did you know that?
Well.
It baffles me that we don't have this written down somewhere, to be honest.
That's on the internet. What are you gonna need it for?
Yeah, what do you need to learn things for? Yeah, I also thought this was it's supposedly quite a fun experience. They had Ross Robinson produce on it.
Yeah.
Which he's supposedly very good. No experience there.
Actually, you can tell their first album has a really good sound to it. Although one of the songs, and I think it is on a list, is from their demo.
And a few of them were on the demo first.
Yeah, and you can tell that.
Well,
they don't think they recorded like Eyeless or Sick or something, because
it wasn't Sick.
It sounds significantly different when you listen to it.
Because I've got a little thing. Because Sick was one of the bands one of the songs that was written before they had the full same lineup. So apparently this is the one that they all jumped to. As Sean said as much about it. They said it wasn't until everyone was in the band we brought to the producer. They had them all in the same room when they recorded it. Apparently it was hilarious. Everyone had their headphones tied to their head because they could all go crazy while they played. Ross was throwing plants at Joey. It was the most insane thing I've ever seen. So there we go. That's why that one might sound a bit weird.
They had a good time.
They did have a good time, and that's the important thing. Lots of notable tracks on it. Big swings, essentially. I
Name
like this
10
album.
of the notable tracks.
You want me to basically list the album?
Yeah.
Okay. Liberate, Purity, Eyeless, Sick, Eeyore, what else? Wait and Bleed,
Yeah. Good song.
Surfacing.
Oh, shit. She's so close. Two more. Oh, is it three more?
Three more. Wait. Scissors.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
If you want, I'll edit out some of the pauses.
Well, I think I'm out now.
You think?
Spit it out.
Spit it out.
Now I'm done. Without looking. Wait, what else is on?
They've got, like, Tattered and Torn.
Oh, I forgot. I'm presenting that song as well.
Prosthetics.
And I forgot about it.
No
I wouldn't
Life,
have got prosthetics.
Diluted, Only One. And the title, the opening track, which is just like a sample. It's just a bunch of numbers. Who's got time for that?
It's not just a sample. I found out today.
Oh,
I'm not presenting that as one of my suggestions.
Yeah,
but
you're not
apparently,
presenting the 35-second.
Yeah, some of it is sampling. The really high vocals on it. Some of them is just Corey Taylor's bumped up really high so it would sound weird. And I think some of them's ripped from a like Charles Manson documentary or something.
Oh,
so there you go. The more you know. But there we go. That's this album. I'm very excited for it.
All Hope Is Gone is the fourth Slipknot album, who are an American heavy metal band. I didn't know if you knew that, so I included it. I thought it was essential for the listeners of the show. The album was actually published in 2 versions. What? Yeah, that's right. 2 versions. One of them had a fucking DVD because that's how old this band is.
Yeah, we don't fuck around with that shit anymore.
Right, getting DVDs for you monsters. Just release it digitally. Give people like a little memory stick.
I always think that's quite cool actually, because then I've got a memory stick as well.
This album is hated because it's not really nu metal anymore.
Okay.
They kind of jump track. They go for a bit of more of a groovy sound. People have called it more like mainstream commercial metal, and I really disagree that there could ever be a thing called commercial metal. Does metal get played on the radio?
I can kind of see what people are trying to say, but I actually your turn. You need to start naming tracks on that album because I couldn't tell you what tracks are on this album.
Okay. Gehenna.
Is that how you pronounce that? I've only ever seen that written down.
Yeah, how would you have pronounced it?
I'm just, it's one of those words that in my head I go, like that's what it is.
It's so easy.
I don't know, I panic sometimes. There's a H where I didn't expect it.
The opening one is like dot execute or something.
Okay.
That's the little sample that
There's always some sample.
Gematria, Psychosocial, Sulfur.
Sulfur's a good one, I like that one.
Dead Memories.
Tune.
Vendetta.
I can kind of see where that statement comes from with tracks like Dead Memories on it. Like,
yeah.
That's not really commercial is probably the wrong word, but I can see what they're saying.
Other people have said like it's a groovier metal, it's like groove metal.
Yeah.
Which I can hear a bit more.
Less just raw heavy, I guess.
Which is why people say it's not as
commercial,
heavy,
yeah.
I think the only one left out of me you're going to get is Butcher's Hook. And I'll quickly Google.
I never would have got that.
The other two are This Coal Black and Wherein Lies Continue. Snuff! Oh!
Snuff! Oh, bitch!
Man. Snuff. That's not even on one of the tracks I'm going to present, so...
Is it not? Really?
No, you know what? I considered it for live, but it doesn't show off everyone.
I thought you were going to do it for an ironic enjoyment.
No. I honestly, it was a maybe for every single category. Because it's really good.
Bar technical skill.
Yeah, okay, so it's a maybe for 2 of the categories.
That's not very technical.
But when we're comparing songs in this, I feel like it's going to be easier if we compare songs that have a lot of energy to them.
Makes
and
sense.
especially like live performance, you can actually see the entirety of Slipknot going like crazy on stage. Whereas Snuff feels like a Corey Taylor song.
It is, yeah. It's a bit more Stone Sour, really.
Yeah.
Well, should we kick off then?
We shall kick off. What's our first category?
Live performance.
All right, who is the best live performance out of
Slipknot and Slipknot.
Well, obviously for this, we're going to be talking not even necessarily about eras, but about
It's
the
song
song
by song,
itself.
isn't it? Yeah.
How it's performed, how they get into it, how the crowd reacts. I feel like that's important when taking it to live. How do we get the audience involved?
Fair enough.
With that in mind, what are you nominating for this?
I have nominated Surfacing.
Ooh, I didn't think you were going to go with that.
I really like this one.
It's really good. I just assumed you were going to go with Eyeless for live performance.
No, because I've used that elsewhere.
Okay. And I am rather predictably, I think, going to say Psychosocial.
Because I forgot that Psychosocial was on that album. As soon as he said that, I was like, shit.
Yeah, it's gotta be for live performance, if nothing else.
Yeah,
so,
of course.
let's throw them together. Surfacing versus Psychosocial. As always, I'm going to put on the studio track for the audience, and we're going to listen to the live performance. We've heard the studio track 1,000 times. We don't even need to bother listening to it. Right, here we go. And we're back. We just listened to Psychosocial and Surfacing live. We actually listened to roughly the same era, the All Hope Is Gone era performances. What are your thoughts?
Tunes.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be a recurring issue, really. It's like, oh, but I like them both.
Well, see, let's ignore the quality of the actual song this time. Let's think about how well they actually performed it. Both of them, instrument-wise, I'm hearing album quality.
Yeah, I think most of the time you see it. Like,
yeah,
generally. Like, obviously, well, we spoke about off mic that you cannot avoid the show deteriorating a little bit as the show goes on, and mine was the opener, and yours was clearly a lot later on in the set. Everyone's sweaty and pissed off by then.
Yeah, like, looking at the band, they're all disgusting at that point.
Like
there's a close-up of Corey, and there's just, like, liquid pouring out from his mask.
Every time they cut to Joey, he looks like he's gonna die of something immediately, because you can see his back and just everything's slick to his, like, oh god, they look like they're struggling.
And yet they still give, a
they
great
still kill it.
That audience was loving it. They're doing the clapping along with them during Psychosocial.
Yeah.
Lots of headbanging. Surfacing had some bigger mosh pits.
Yeah, we had some circle pits there.
Yeah. What's the difference between a circle pit and a mosh pit?
So a mosh pit is more just like, you'll have people that push out in a circle and you run through, and you'll push people and that kind of thing. It's a bit more chaotic, whereas a circle pit, you all run like a chain in a circle.
That's fucking dumb.
It's just an aggression thing. It gets you sort of hyped up.
That's
like
a dumb thing.
It's no dumber than jumping up and down on the spot, is it?
Oh, yeah, that's dumb too.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be real. All things are dumb.
Exactly. Everything is dumb.
That's really dumm.
It is dumb. But also it's fun, so
No,
we don't care.
I'm kidding. Anyone who likes being in a circle pit, you
circle,
do you, man.
I feel more comfortable in a circle pit because it's not that I'm afraid of getting hurt in a mosh pit, is I hate the idea of other people having to be careful of me because I'm small.
The most recent mosh pit I was in, I was literally punched in the back of the head.
Yeah.
And then had to go sit down because I was like seeing spots.
Yeah, the most recent one I didn't even want to be in. I was just too close to one. And I took a large man's elbow to the face. And my lip fell there. I had a sore face for the rest of the day, but I was alright.
Alright, gun to your head. Which do you think was a better performance?
I actually they were pretty similar.
Yeah.
Like,
Slipknot are kind of uniform in a lot of ways.
yeah, I mean,
It's a show, they've done it a lot,
like, in terms of, like, things that they had going on, my one had the whole, when they had the percussion benches start spinning and going up and down, but then in yours they've got the little harness drum type things.
Yeah.
Harness snares, so it's like, they're pretty similar.
Mm-hmm.
I would say probably the crowd are more excited by Yawn just because that is the biggest Slipknot song.
Psychosocial you can get really into. I feel like because it's a little slower in sections, it's a little simpler and a little bit more
breaks,
melodic.
yeah.
You can go through that. Whereas Surfacing, I feel like the
Aggressive.
memorable bit is
Yeah.
the opening. The I feel like that's to like a melodic listener who's potentially in the crowd not having heard Slipknot before.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the standout segment, and Psychosocial's bit is the dun, 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 psychosocial, which
That's
is,
valid.
you know, you can rave along to that.
Yeah, I clap onto weird bits of songs. I'm not very good with stuff like this is the memorable bit.
I mean,
Is
let's
it?
be real, we're just two people.
Yeah.
Neither of us are necessarily representative of anything.
But that makes more sense in general.
Which is probably why people don't like. I mean, like the snobbier side of metal doesn't like this album as much.
The snobbier side of metal doesn't like Slipknot, to be honest, mate.
I thought they liked Slipknot's Slipknot, and they liked Slipknot's Iowa.
Slipknot, no. Not as a whole, not as a band, not by the... If you're going to talk snobby, pretentious metal, anything that wasn't like Metallica or
Yeah,
classic
Metallica.
thrash metal.
No, you know what? You like Metallica, that's fine. It's not for me. I'm not going to diss Metallica.
But it's that kind of thing. So if we're going to talk snobby metal, Slipknot are sort of out of the running anyway, because it's classed as new metal, so
I guess.
there we go.
So we're getting that Psychosocial. That sounds like a Psychosocial
You
win
can
to
have
me.
it, go on.
Yeah? Yay, little...
I can't really not let you win with the main fucking big track, can I?
I mean, I just think
Thought I'd get
that...
away with it.
Alright, there's going to be like a lot of noise on mic for a second.
Yeah, my laptop's just had a freak out. I thought I'd get away with it, but no battery. Sorry. Literally, I just asked you to put a plug in an extension lead. I didn't really
did
do
it.
this hard.
I did
Hey, you functioned.
Oh,
Congrats.
God. I did it. Alright. I'll probably cut that out. Maybe.
If
We'll
you
see.
can be bothered.
Sometimes I catch stuff, sometimes I can't be bothered.
Yeah, fair.
Right, round 2. It was an easy win for Psychosocial. There wasn't much of a fight on that.
To be honest, they're so similar. I don't feel like I've got the right to passionately fight it, you know?
That's true. I feel like because they're similar, it's the little things like the audience interaction and stuff that really brings it up.
Yeah.
I mean, Corey, let's be real, is going to talk to the audience either way, you know.
He has to.
He never really sounds like the album to me. I mean, obviously he's got the vocals to do it. It's just he tends to give it a bit more of a idiosyncratic spin during the live performances.
It's quite common, though, with live... It's never exactly the same, is it?
I mean, let's talk about this. Do you think albums should be something... Should be trying to replicate a live experience, or do you think they should be an album experience?
I think it depends on the band.
Mm-hmm.
So, most of the time, I would say that it's just an album, and it's fine. But that's because the album and the live experience tend to be similar things. Like with most normal bands, you're sort of hearing what you're getting. And then you have to get into the really sort of theatrical end of metal before you start to see bands that I'm like, I think it should replicate the live experience because it's not as good without the live experience. Like the band's colours and lights and flashes and sometimes water or pop if you're in fucking Insane Clown Posse for reasons. Like flags, other people dressed up as mental shit, like pits and things. Like it really is an experience which you're trying to replicate a little bit more. But yeah, it's very band dependent.
See, because like my favourite band who we covered recently, The Main, go listen to their stuff. They tried with their newest album, they were like, we're not even going to try to replicate a live sound, we're just going to do some stuff we've never done before. Like,
I think that's the kind of band you can get away with it. Cause
they've
it's,
got like 10 vocal lines on one of the tracks and stuff, like loads of harmonies and stuff. The things that you're not going to get live.
Yeah, I think it really does depend on the band.
Mm-hmm. Why does it matter for Slipknot, would you say? Does it matter for Slipknot?
I would say to a point, like, I think the quality of the track should still come first.
Yeah,
But the sort of layering that goes into it, and it's an attitude thing.
I guess they've got so many members, I'm not going to excuse them if they don't sound as thick, you know?
Yeah, there's a lot of them. But it's a lot of, like, just because it's aggressive, then. It's aggressive and it's more of an experience. It's hard to replicate that without being able to see them, so you
There's
put that bit
also
of
a
extra effort in.
feeling, I think, of being disappointed. Like if you listen to an album, it's like super thick and super like distinct.
Yeah, and if it's not going to be like that live, what's the point?
Like I've heard local bands who they'll remain nameless, but I've heard their stuff and I've been like, oh, I'm super into this, and I've seen them live and it doesn't sound like it. Like the vocals aren't as tight.
Or even vice versa, when you see a band live and you're like, these guys are great, and then you hear a recording and you're like, what did I care about?
Yeah, exactly. So it can go both ways, I guess.
Yeah, it happens.
Oh shit, man, we've been going for so long. We've barely even got through one track.
We've talked through a lot of shit.
All right,
though.
go for
You
the
ready?
next one. Yeah.
So ironic and unironic enjoyment. I've sort of done. Mine's a bit of a wild card here because I love it, but maybe wouldn't be. It's not one of the big tracks. So
Okay.
I have picked Tattered and Torn
Okay.
because I really like that track.
She's not as familiar with it. So this will be not new because I've heard this album a lot, but one of the less focused.
Yeah. The one line I always see about this one is if you understand the song Tattered and Torn, is you understand Sean, the clown.
Mm-hmm.
Or the clown as a character, then.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I'm a little stuck for this.
This one was the hardest for me as well.
Yeah. I still haven't really been able to narrow it down.
Okay. Well, you get one, so...
Yeah. Well, I'm going to say my 3, and then we're going to pick together.
Okay.
Okay? So, Sulfur, Dead Memories, and Snuff.
See, I thought you were going to pick Snuff because it's on the emotional side of things.
Yeah. But I don't feel like that's a prerequisite for this band.
But I also think that most people would choose Dead Memories because that's the heavier... It's emotional, but a bit heavier. I personally would choose Sulfur because I prefer that to both.
I'm going to choose Sulfur. I'm going to go with it. Let's go with Sulfur.
So these songs have both been chosen because I like them. So that's what this category is.
This is a Layers podcast.
Yeah.
Right. Sulfur versus
You've forgotten
Tattered
already.
and Torn.
There we go.
I got it. I was looking at her to say it, but she assumed that I'd forgotten.
Well, yeah, that's why I let you drown.
Okay, here we go, guys. That was very different. Those two songs were
very
not
different.
super comparable in structure, at least. Sulfur
No.
is a bit more of a traditional structure to it.
Yeah.
You got your verse, you got your chorus. Tattered and Torn is just like the words tattered and torn with an opposing line throughout the whole song.
Yeah, effectively.
That's
It's
very intense.
It's experimental.
Mm-hmm. Actually, we were saying during the track we were listening to, we were like, Slipknot deserve this, right? They tried different things. They've been experimental.
They're
go
allowed
out there.
to be a bit older now and be settled on what they're doing.
And technically speaking, from the volume 3, that is sort of experimental compared to the previous stuff for them.
That's valid.
It's different. When did Corey start moving in with Stone Sour? When did he...
When did he join Stone Sour?
Yeah, obviously I know he was in it pre-Slipknot, I think.
Was he? Really?
I think he knew the people. I don't think they were in a band together. I think he formed it as a break from Slipknot.
Yeah, I was gonna
after,
say
it was probably after Iowa.
No luck on here.
Just type in Stone Sour formed.
Yeah, I fucking did. 1992 they start.
Okay, so right back at the start of Slipknot then.
Oh, since 2006, Corey Taylor's been in it.
Oh, okay. Okay, so that's post volume 3. That's All Hope Is Gone era about to come up.
Yeah.
So that makes sense to me. Why Slipknot took a little bit of a rockier move in vocal style.
Oh wait, no, sorry, my bad. That's when they rejoined. They had a hiatus. So the original formation in 92 was done by Corey Taylor. They just had quite a long break.
Yeah.
So.
Well, he was doing Slipknot.
Yeah.
It's intense.
So there we go.
So, what do you think, these two songs? Unironic, ironic enjoyment. Do you want to make your case and then I'll make mine?
Well, I just think, because it's a lot more experimental, I think you can see why it appeals to me, even if you didn't think I would bring it up. Because it's like,
to be honest, it's not that I didn't think you'd bring it up, it's that I forgot it existed.
Yeah, that's valid. Because it's not one of the big ones, for sure. But, that's sort of, the samples, the sort of creepy clown stuff, they had, I'm not sure if you would have noticed, but they had sort of the hospital pulse thing, the bip?
Yeah.
Bip? They had that going in the background the whole time, and just things like that. It's a bit more out there, it's a bit more weird, but you can still very genuinely enjoy it, even if it is a bit silly. And it sort of resembles this clown character, because obviously the clown's not real. It's a character made up by this dude, and this song is that. They also named their clothing line after this song, so there we go.
Really?
Yeah, they've got a clothing line called Tattered and Torn.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's the band's merch. So
like that.
the more you know.
Although I have never liked any of their merch.
Really? Well, I suppose a lot of the time it's just the album cover on a t-shirt or the album cover on a hoodie.
Yeah, don't like it. There's very few. I actually own one piece of band clothing.
Yeah, you don't really do band merch, so
Don't
do
like
you?
it, generally speaking. Generally speaking, I think a lot of band merch is really ugly and crap.
It definitely can be.
I liked Dream State is the one I bought because it doesn't necessarily have to be a band t-shirt.
Yeah,
It
could just be abstract.
I mean, I like t-shirts that talk about a cause for me, just because it feels like that tiny way that I'm just spreading, like,
You're just contributing
Yeah,
to the team.
in a tiny, tiny way. And it says it's okay to not feel alright, because that particular song that's from is all about how mental health is, like, really
I
difficult.
actually thought that you'd bought it because I remember you buying a set of t-shirts
Yeah.
that were for mental. I always thought that was a set, the mental health set,
No,
because it was your.
those ones are
activism.
nice though.
It does look nice.
Got like Hope is Defiant with it on the back instead of on the front of the t-shirt.
Yeah, I think band merch is hard to pull off as a rule.
Band merch, I think mostly is really crappy. And
Also,
no offense to everyone out there who makes band merch, but it tends to be quite boring because I don't like just wearing album covers or logos.
Yeah, and I think we need to address that having a shitty Slipknot logo tattoo is the staple of being a teenager in about 2000.
Yeah, you're
Of being a
allowed.
dumb emo teenager in about the year 2000 if you've got a dumb fucking ugly Slipknot tattoo.
What? I've seen some recent Slipknot tattoos. They look real good.
You
It's
can really
just-
pull them off, it's just hard.
I mean, I said at the beginning of this, I'm betraying a lot of my personality. I don't like stuff that just betrays exactly who I am. That's why I like my tattoos to be a little bit more abstract. You know why?
It's not so
I
direct,
can
is it?
fucking explain them to people.
You just love being that dick,
I'm that
don't you?
one guy, the one person in the world
Who
loves
likes being
explaining
asked
their
that question,
tattoos.
yeah.
It's my favorite thing.
Mine are often quite simple, just I like this. And it's not like just like, oh, I like the design, but I like something. They're all pretty simple though.
Well, you know,
I don't like to get into poetry bullshit.
one of us is deep and the other one is me. So yeah.
I haven't got the capacity to be deep. I'm too short for it.
I
Did you know I found out I'm shorter than I thought I was?
I did know that. You told me.
Yeah, did I tell you on the
Yeah, you can
weekend?
tell me on mic if you want. You can
I'm
tell
just
the
so
story.
I'm still upset. I don't want to tell the fucking story. Like I just found out I'm shorter than I am, and now I'm sad.
Yeah.
I'm even more below average height than I thought I was, because I've been telling people for years that even if I'm not the average height for a woman in the UK, I am the average height for a woman in India, so that makes it okay, and I'm not.
No, what about China? Maybe China?
I'll Google it and
Yeah.
I'll get back to you.
That
I'll
might
update you next
That might be your
podcast.
backup. You can get a tattoo of China.
I'll do like a Chinese character, like all fucking
Just
super hardcore edgy people do.
Get height, but in Chinese, and maybe it'll say something wrong instead.
Yeah, it'll be wrong almost definitely,
Yeah.
but that's not the point. Right,
Maybe it just says hi. That'll be.
make your fucking case.
I think that this song is really good, and I'm going into this a little bit half-hearted to be honest because I couldn't.
Well, I didn't think you wrote 3 arguments for each song, to be honest, so I had
No,
a feeling you weren't
exactly.
too passionate
this
about
one's
this.
this one's my little one where I'm. You know how last week or last time we did this, I knew exactly what I was saying with the name because I'm like it's emotionally involving.
Yeah.
With this one, this category is by far the toughest one we do.
It is hard. It's more or less like this card to do what we want.
Mm-hmm.
And we both tend to go pretty different ways each time. But I think you did this week what I did last week, which was just pick another song that's theirs, rather
Yeah.
than a one that's a bit weird.
Well, see, because I don't necessarily know how to approach it this time. It's
Yeah.
easy. It was easy last week when it was my band.
Yeah.
This one is.
It's definitely harder because we're doing the same band.
This one's a bit more like. I think the song has really great imagery. I think you can like Slipknot from this, but I'm not convinced by my own decision that it's better than Tattered and Torn.
Does that mean I get this one?
I think you do.
Yeah.
But I want to establish why.
Yeah, that's valid.
And it's mostly because I don't think one of the songs is better than the other. Actually,
That's wrong to say generally, isn't it? To
I
say
really
that one
like
is better than the
Sulphur,
other. It's a good song.
but Tad and Torn feels really new and different, and it is not new. It's how many years old now?
Oh,
20 years old?
It's old, yeah.
Is it older than 20 years?
I don't think it's older than me.
I
to be
think it
honest.
might be, dude.
Well, I'll check when the album came out and get back to you.
Okay. Because like it's for something to feel this new and different, even though it is potentially 20 years older. That's ridiculous.
That is a bit insane.
1999 Slipknot came out.
Oh, well, what month? I need to know now. Is it older? Oh, it was June 1999, so it is slightly older than me.
Yeah, that's funny. It is so yeah. I think that's incredible that it can feel that new and different and experimental.
Yeah.
It isn't those things anymore. You know?
Yeah. It's really not.
And that's why I think you can pitch an unironic love of Slipknot to this. Now,
Yeah,
the only argument
cool.
that I would take is you can kind of get a bit more of an emo ironic vibe from mine.
Oh, always.
But generally in this show, we tend to err towards unironic love of adoration of something over ironic in terms of
it's just
victory.
To be fair, unironic tends to be addressing more when people are okay with being silly, or something like that. Like they're not taking themselves too seriously. But to be honest, there's not a lot of opportunity for that in Slipknot because you can't take yourself seriously with the amount of dumb bullshit that you've been doing. You know.
So yeah, I'm gonna give it to that. I think it's an easy win, to be honest.
Yeah, fair.
I think it's a solid victory.
I'm pretty confident about my next one too.
Now, see, I've also got a really good one.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Okay.
So and I haven't picked the traditional choice, whereas I think you have picked the traditional choice.
You know which one I picked because I love this song so much.
Say what it is.
Do you want to do a line just so you can confirm? Because I think you quoted this to me not long ago, saying that this is your favorite Slipknot line.
You can't see California without Marlon Brando's eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go.
From Eyeless.
Yeah.
It's really good. It's weird. And I was saying off mic, imagery to me in lyrics needs to express exactly what it is, even if the listener is never going to experience that feeling. That's the power that you can get from poetry sometimes. And that's a really good line.
Do you know where that line came from? And where a lot of the inspiration for the imagery in this song came from?
No, I don't.
This came from a homeless man on the street of California screaming, "You can't see California without Marlon Brando's eyes. I have no eyes. Look at my new eye." Over and over again at the band in the streets, screaming. And he took inspiration from that and it turned into a song. So there we go. Well done, little homeless man that's more than likely dead by now, given that this was, as we've just discovered, 20 years ago and he was homeless then.
Yeah, I mean, hey, you want to talk about issues? Let's address the homelessness problem. This is now...
I know, for real. We're going to get into some heavy shit now, guys. Buckle up.
Hey, London, or wherever, whichever city you're from, or village, don't put up anti-homelessness spikes.
That's dumb shit. Like,
it's hard. It's difficult enough to be homeless and they didn't choose it, so...
Yeah. So you thought Slipknot were heavy. Let's get into the housing crisis.
Build more affordable housing. Oh, you want to talk about the housing crisis, actually?
Are we really going to go down this rabbit hole with how long we've been going?
Just a little thing. So in my village back home, there's a petition against putting up these new houses because they're putting up like £1 million houses on an area of grassland.
Okay.
And they're just for millionaires and stuff. And
that's not solving the fucking housing crisis.
Yeah, people are like, no, don't fucking tear down.
That's
like,
going to be some fucking Tory politicians' summer home.
Exactly.
You know?
Don't make the village a worse place to live with more houses.
You know, I thought
unless
I was going to feel
they're for people.
Yeah,
you know?
Obviously for like normal fucking people that might well be home. Fuck off.
Houses.
Yeah. Valid. There we go. Do you want to pitch your song to me? Because I don't know which one you've picked.
I've picked Gematria.
Have you?
In parentheses, the killing name. Because it's really, really
good. Oh, shit. I couldn't even... You know when you hear the name and I was like, I know that, but I can't think of the song. The killing name, that sold it.
One of my other lines in... favourite lines in Slipknot, What If God Doesn't Care? That's from this song.
Okay. Oh, yes. There we go.
Crazy good riffs. Insane guitars in this, actually. It often appears in, like, Slipknot's hardest riff videos. So, let's bloody well dig in to this little pie of Slipknot and chew down on the rope. I don't know where I went with this. It was it got away from me real quick.
It ran away.
Yeah. So let's listen to Slipknot's Eyeless and Gematria.
Well done. You remembered both.
Thanks. So, those were our last two picks.
Yeah.
Gematria and Eyeless. Both, we thought, initially, quite similar sounding.
But yeah, I can see it.
The intensity.
Yeah, definitely it's in the same sort of bracket of songs.
You got a direction you're leaning?
I, to be honest, couldn't pick between the two.
Really?
Like, in myself, if it was just down to me, I'd probably be like, we'll call it a fucking draw. Because
That's interesting.
Because I'm willing, because I think, well, this is what I said to you, is, off mic, is that we've just sort of gone towards our own gravitational things with this, because Slipknot does show people off, but individually. You rarely get a song that shows off everyone. So I've gravitated to the song that's shown off the drums and bass really aggressively, and you've gravitated to the song that shows off the guitars really well, but without having too complicated drums and bass in it, whereas mine's the exact opposite.
Yeah,
So
and both have really interesting vocals. I mean, Corey in Slipknot, I don't think he knows how to, like, scream or sing properly yet.
Yeah,
That's not a diss. He had vocal lessons.
Yeah,
and
by
stuff.
now, obviously, he's fine.
You know,
It's
but
just
he's
you
got
do
that
learn,
raw
don't you?
feeling to
Yeah.
it, you know. And Gematria, for comparison, is more like, I know what I'm doing now. It's kind of like a bit more mundane. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's a bit more safe.
Yeah. So, I do have one that I think it will edge it towards, and I do think it's kind of like it's the reason what you just mentioned, because we tend to prioritize our things, and so I'm a little bit more impressed when I hear, like, when the drums are pointed out to me and they're, like, insane. It's a little bit more impressive to me because I'm not used to it. So I give the edge to Eyeless.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought you were going to argue your own case a bit more, but to be fair, we've mentioned this, and when you realised that Eyeless was on my album that I'd picked, I remember you being like, fuck, no matter what I put it against, I'm going to agree with you.
Yeah, Eyeless is good, and I love Gematria, don't get me wrong. It was my favourite Slipknot song for a long time.
To be fair, it's a fucking good one.
It has one of the best lyrics I've heard in music, which is just Corey screaming, "What if God doesn't care?" There is no need to say anything else. As far as I'm concerned, the rest of the song could be silent, and that song summarizes enough.
That's all you need. Yeah, priorities.
But I kind of like how ridiculous and weird Eyeless is.
Yeah, it's just out there.
It's got the super cool sampling. It's got those really weird lines, which you've now pointed out were spoken by a homeless man.
Yeah. Also, the phrase I always like, because I've never really gravitated to that one before. Partially because, as it turned out, until you told me what he was saying, I had no idea what that line was.
Yeah.
Like, I could tell eyes, and I would get to "You Can't See California" without. And then I would just go bzz, 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 for the rest of the line.
I only know that line because it's one of the songs that I used to, like, the key phrases that I used to get into the right kind of scream.
That makes sense.
And because early Corey does a lot more rapping, screaming.
Yeah.
It's really good practice. Why not just, learn from the greats, right?
And similarly, in terms of tone of things, the one I always used to notice in that one was the dad bit. Like, I am my father's son because he's a phantom of mystery, and that leaves me nothing. Yeah, because that's just fast as bullet, machine gun lyrics.
Slipknot and Iowa lyrics have references to, like, Corey just afraid that he's becoming his dad, but he doesn't know who that is. So
yeah, it could be whatever. Yeah, that's interesting. It's interesting.
It's deep. But yeah, I think this isn't a bad album. I know a lot of people don't like it. I know that even Slipknot don't like it as much as... Yeah, Corey has said that this is the worst album they ever did.
Fair play.
And I know why it's different, but I still feel that it is incredibly strong. The first half of it, I think, is unmissable.
Yeah, it's like, rather than all the tracks being pretty good, it's half the tracks of and the other half
kind of take it or leave it until you get to Snuff. And then Snuff's really good. But
I'm actually really not a fan of that song.
Really?
Because they always do, like, the softer Slipknot side. It's always Vermilion, the acoustic version of that. I prefer that.
Everything to me.
I prefer that to Snuff.
That is a really good song.
But
no
that
complaints.
was on neither of the albums.
Yeah, actually, thinking about it, we probably should have picked Volume 3, but...
we just picked our favourites, didn't we?
See, the thing is, the first 4 Slipknot albums, I love all of them a lot. I like the Grey chapter less. I couldn't really tell you why. I just haven't listened to it as much.
You just don't really like it, do you?
I haven't listened to it as much. It hasn't captured me in the same way that the others did.
That's fair enough.
So that's there it goes. Winning team layer. Go stuff. Man, that was so many sentences mixed into one there.
Yeah.
But yeah.
To be honest, I didn't think this was going to be a surprise, because that's what you said going into this, is arguably self-titled is a better album. You just prefer All Hope Is Gone.
And I do think my singles stand out more.
Yeah, the single, well, especially because it was like, what was it? Eat, Feed, Mate, Kill, or something. Feed, Mate, Kill, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, the one that came before it. And that most of them were on that, and they were jankily fucking recorded.
Yeah.
Like, you know. And we can't really do, because we always sort of end on, like, band legacy and history and things, but we literally have the same band, so...
Yeah, and also, go listen to our other podcast on Slipknot. It's our most popular podcast
It's
by
about
far.
8 million years long, but you'll enjoy it.
We do a big talk about Slipknot's history. It's real interesting, and probably factually inaccurate in, like, 1,000 ways. Hey, Slipknot!
But it's
Get
fun,
in
yeah.
touch.
I'm sure the Slipknot enjoy because if it's factually inaccurate, it's normally because someone's made up a story and that people have just latched onto that, but I'm sure they like the publicity for it.
Alright, well, that'll do us for this week. What we got next week?
I think we've got our industrial week next week.
Oh, good God.
Or / languages week.
The week where I don't know what I'm doing yet.
Yeah.
Which
is why I was
do
hoping
plan
you wouldn't
these
bring
guys,
it up,
but,
yeah.
But no, we should get it on mic. Get all the...
Yeah, you're committed now.
Yeah.
Because, well, this is how we tend to choose it, is we pick one that, like, one of us will want to do, and then we'll just match it. So I just picked one that I want to do that for some reason has come out as a major challenge to you. So there we go. You can deal with it. You've got to now.
Yeah, I'm excited. Have you actually looked up what it is? Are you still loading it?
I'm looking for it, but I'm pretty confident I've got it right because of dates.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Okay, so it's industrial and/or languages.
It depends if you give up on industrial, because obviously if we have 2 industrial bands, that'll make more sense, and I don't want to spoil it because obviously I know who the band is, but I just wasn't going to say it because it's a surprise now.
Never know what it means. Yeah, I'll get you to help me. Right.
Yeah. I might just end up picking a band for you, and then you can run with it.
If you could do that, that would save me so much
Yeah,
effort.
fair.
Right, we will, there's 2 of us. We might not see each other through that black wall, but there are
But
in
in
fact 2 of
spirits,
us.
we are both present.
Yeah. So, we'll see you guys in 2 weeks, and that's the whole thing that I say. Good?
Yeah!
Yeah, so little
Socials.
little energy.
Socials.
Oh, yeah, we have a Facebook page. Go on it.
Yeah, get on it, because it's got all the interesting shit on the Facebook now, whereas the Facebook and the Twitter, because we don't even have Instagram anymore, because we're both shit at it.
Yeah.
Which is valid.
I haven't set up a Twitter yet.
Oh, okay, well, we've got a Facebook that's interesting.
Facebook. I was focusing on making the Facebook really good, and then we'll expand to
You
Twitter.
mean making me make the Facebook really good?
Yeah, making you do it. I edit this thing.
That's
you try listening to your own voice 1,000 times a day.
Yeah, I'd probably have killed myself by now, I'm not gonna lie.
Good God.
I hate
Alright,
my
hold
own
on.
voice.
Let's try this ending with a bit more enthusiasm. Alright, ready? I'm going in for it. I'm grinding up to it. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks' time. That was great. I enjoyed it a lot. It made me really happy. Go on, what do you say at the end of this thing?
I go, bye, in a funny voice, and then you go, can you not talk like that?
No, I never say that. Always say bye like that. Bye.
Bye! You bitch like nobody's business the first couple. Remember